Welcome to another episode of the Manhood Podcast. Today I'm joined here by Niels Bosman. Thanks for being here, brother. Thanks for welcoming me into your home.
Thank you, yeah.
I'm going to drop him in with a little introduction, and then we've got some questions for him to pick apart how he does what he does and how he's built the life that he has, because this guy's living some really beautiful experiences. He's living quite a different way than what the mainstream man would. And I know and I can see these different parts that he's put together, and I'm just curious of like all the steps that he's taken to get to that. So today, we're here with Niels Bosman, a father, entrepreneur, property investor and content creator who has been a great example to me of what it means to step into manhood. His journey is a testament to the power of business and a life that serves both his personal desires and his family. From building and selling a cookbook business to investing in property here in Bali, creating monetized YouTube channel and navigating the world of crypto, Niels has brought mastery to his journey as an entrepreneur. But beyond the financial game, what truly sets him apart is his commitment to conscious parenting, having structured his life and business in such a way that he can be present mentally and physically with his daughter and partner Freya. So let's jump in from the beginning, brother. I'm excited to ask more about your story because we've been friends now for a couple of years, and I mean, we've delved a little bit into your past, but I also know that there's so much that as I prepared for this podcast, I realized that I didn't know as well. So I'd love to hear how you got to where you are now, and like to give everybody a bit of a frame of reference. We're here in Bali, Indonesia. Niels is running quite a few different projects. He's got a beautiful partner and a daughter here, and just really enjoying life and doing things. And I'm just curious to hear how you landed where you are now, and if there was a few like pivotal moments in your life that you can see that landed you here.
Yeah. Where did I go back? It was actually interesting. If I go back when I was in my childhood, it was like I loved cooking. Standing in the kitchen with my mom and just helping her cook, and and then from a young age was also like collecting, like selling stuff in the neighborhood, collecting it from nature and then selling it to people. And I was also really interested in nature. I did a lot of fishing, back home. Almost every day when the school was over, I just went fishing in nature, and just like also crab fishing when I was on holiday with my parents in France. Yeah, so they're already like the entrepreneur and the nature lover really came out, and so that's a little bit about my childhood. I've never really like enjoyed school so much, and that's like interesting because I was in the end I ended up with like doing like university, ending up like really like with a high degree, Well, I didn't really enjoy it, but it happened, and my last study I did like I actually got into internet and like digital media, so that's also that's also one of my passions. So I've always been very interested in new things, and like for example, being an online entrepreneur, I really like got into that, and like So you asked about my story, my background. Any more?
Yeah, is there a couple of key moments that you can sort of really pick out where there was a course correction or something happened in your life that led you on the journey that you are on now, like walking quite a unique path?
Yeah, I think like the moment, like I was living and working in Australia, your country, and I actually lived a year in a city where you're from, or close where you're from.
Yeah, Adelaide.
Yeah. I lived there for a year, and I was like fundraising there. And I was campaign manager. So it was a good job, and it was like training people and like managing them, and like it was a sales job. But I was like right there. I was like 30. Yeah, the beginning of my 30s, and it was pretty good life. But I also knew like I don't want to stay in Australia. This is not the island where where I want to grow old. I like find that out. And I was also very interested because it was a sales job. So it's like a lot of. I started to watch a lot of Tony Robbins and like a lot of motivational stuff, and I was doing sales. So I also was like really, really going deep into that, and then the combination of that, like I started to get really interested in becoming an entrepreneur. So like there in Australia, I decided like, and now I'm going for it. I'm gonna go home, and I'm just gonna be an entrepreneur. So that was a pivotal moment, and then I came home and like becoming an entrepreneur, and I didn't really, I had no clue what I wanted to do. So it was also a very big struggle, in the beginning. To find what do I want to do, how do I make money, and yeah. So, but that was certainly a big moment in my life.
Yeah. And that willingness to, what I'm hearing there is that willingness to sit in with the vision of what you do want to do and move in that direction, even when you don't have all the answers, right? That's part of entrepreneurship, is seeing the vision and going for it and like finding the way and making the way. And so just to connect the dots, is this where you started your, like the cookbook business? Was that first venture that you went into when you came back from Australia?
Yeah.
Or was there something before that?
Yeah, not straight away. I was like, because I came from sales, we were like selling charities on the streets for donations from people.
Yeah.
So I was like, first thought I'm gonna do sales, something with sales, but I didn't know exactly what. So I did some sales jobs, like cold calling jobs and that kind of stuff, and I started my business, Sales 24. So I also started the website. So but it was not the first thing, was not that. But then I thought like, okay, really started to look a lot of content from mentors, what do they do, and I bought a training in online marketing because I kind of like saw like, yeah, online marketing, and making money online, that's the way to go, that's like. And then I started the training, and for that training you need to register a domain name. And then I was like, it was a training of 2 days, and like you needed to register a domain name, and I was like looking, what is this guy actually doing himself, And then he was doing affiliate marketing in the weight loss business. So I thought, okay, weight loss is apparently a good market. And I just registered makkelijk afvallen. That's a Dutch name. It means easy weight loss. But for that training, I started like that domain, and it was kind of like a tryout to start online marketing, affiliate marketing.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And that's just rolled into the next business that obviously had a fair bit of online presence as well, with where you put together the cookbook and you were selling that online, and same sort of tools that came through by the sounds of it. Amazing, man. I'm curious, is there something from your time in sales, like just some of the mindset that's you can see has really supported you in your entrepreneur journey? Because it's quite a unique journey. Not everybody starts in sales and moves into entrepreneurship. Is there something in particular that that you learnt during that time that has supported you?
Yeah, definitely the mindset aspect. Because you need a very good mindset for sales, because you need to know it's a fucking numbers game, so you need to go like, you approach 10 people and you just know if you have a good pitch, from that 10, like 9 will say no, but 1 will say yes.
Yeah.
That was the average. And that's a very, like, if you just know that, and you have your pitch good, you are prepared, and then, like, so you have a good mindset, and you know the numbers. It's a numbers game, so that's a really big thing. It's, first of all, that numbers game is very important in online marketing, of course. Because it's all about numbers and generating a lot of numbers, and then conversion. So that one was very important, and also the mindset, and also the way you approach, like, the way you speak, and the way you, like, sales is very important in online marketing as well.
Yeah.
So that was actually a perfect combination, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's landing for me around the sales piece is, like, getting to really understand people and how they tick. Like, obviously, to understand sales is to understand people. But the other thing that was dropping in for me around that was, just going to take a few moments and drop in.
Yeah.
But I'll edit this out in a sec, sorry, man.
That's okay. No, it's nice to have a little meditation.
Okay, yeah, where I was going to go with that. So the other piece that was landing in is that you spoke about it being a numbers game.
Yeah.
And the genius that I'm hearing from you in that is to be able to, like, have rejection and to still keep going. Like, I think sometimes that can be the most challenging thing in the entrepreneurial game, where you're building something new or doing something for the first time, and, like, failure is a part of that journey of, like, it doesn't always work the first time, and having to keep going. And just, like, hearing, from that sales background of knowing that it's a numbers game, knowing that you might get that one person out of 10, and it's a matter of just keeping on going no matter what, and adjusting, and maybe making it less about ourselves, and just that it's part of the process. Like, it's
and I think, like, in sales, also in business, but also in life, I think this is one of the key things for me, is to to adopt the mindset of success, is because nothing comes easy, like, you know yourself, you have trained so many fucking hours, like, is that fucking easy? No. And now you're also reinventing yourself, as a coach, as a leader, and I see, like, with this podcast, are you very successful right now? Maybe not, but, like, you just keep doing it, and you learn, and you see what works, and then so that's a very important mindset to have in life, I think. And it's very beautiful.
And more and more that I get into this, it's like I realize it's not even about the end destination, but who we become on that journey. And it pretty much allows us to sit in that place then, that we acquire these different skill sets and tools that equal then what is created externally. And something that's really been interesting me of late is a saying from, like, the world of wealth, and that wealth is passed down through education, not through assets. And I thought that was super curious, and something that inspires me as a man, like, looking at having children in the next couple of years of like, how do I continue to acquire my mindset and skill sets around money and wealth and business and creation, and fundamentally just working in practical ways, serving the world in big ways, that I can pass that on to my kids as well. So that's been inspiring watching you as well over the last couple of years, and how you're living and breathing quite differently than so many people. And one thing that we haven't mentioned yet is, I was, like, really impressed by your fatherhood journey, of you being able to take time off when Joy was being born. Joy's my goddaughter, she would be my goddaughter, and that you were able to have your business running, but you also, I took the time to really do that process properly, and follow your heart and what felt right for you. And just curious to hear your mindset, your thought process around that, and maybe how you plan that in, because I'm sure there's many men that would be like, oh, I wish I could do that, but it's not possible, or that would be nice, but
Yeah, can I share one more thing about like entrepreneurship?
Absolutely.
And like, because it was like
go for
coming in while we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
it, and then we go to this part because it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's also two really big things where, like what you say about purpose and about like reinventing yourself and learning, that's a very important part. But another part to be a successful entrepreneur is like, and this is what a lot of people I think miss, you know, it's like in business it's actually very simple, you know, you do something, it works, and you do it over again, and it can be very like probably the richest people, like they just do something over and over again, you know, that's like, and to having that mindset to just like not make things complicated and just see what works and stick to it and go. And that is one thing about it, but then you have also this other aspect, like, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, that resonates. Hey, like just bring it back to the simplicity, finding what works, and you're like narrowing it down to that.
Yeah.
And I suppose maybe something that is taken for granted, but what I see a quality in you is that you can sort of cut out the distractions, right? And the ability to be able to focus on what works is a skill set in itself, right? That narrow focus and hone in. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you're really lucky, you find the combination between something you love to do and something what works and what you can sell over and over again, you know, and then I think you have a perfect life as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because if you're only successful in selling and making money, and like, but you do something where you don't really enjoy, yeah.
Can only last so long, at least in my experience. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And there's also a lot of people who are like, you know, trying with their passion to make money, but like never really like succeeding in it because they're just wanting to do something, you know, and like, yeah. Or a lot of people were just like trying so many different things, you know, and then like then they do this and they don't finish it and they start this, and like, yeah, I think that's also very important to be able to follow through, you know, and just follow through and like try it a fucking year. Like with YouTube now, I'm already trying a year, you know. I have not made any money. I have a few channels where I'm generating cash, but like I'm still having to put in money. It's all like it's not profitable. So all year long, I'm just pumping there, you know, and yeah, that's sometimes needed.
yeah, just part of the process sometimes, continuing to invest in something. And yeah, I think there's a lot of wisdom in that, of what you're saying, of like following through and seeing it the full distance, because it can be so easy, and I see this in myself sometimes of it doesn't work, and already creating this belief system out of almost like fear or wanting just to let go of it. It's like, that didn't work, next thing.
Yeah.
And maybe even an addiction to the dopamine hit of doing something new all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, actually missing the gold. And we've like dug, and we might be so close to it. And yet, you know, giving it up at that stage would be to miss, you know, what we've worked so hard for. So
yeah.
Powerful. I love that. Do we want to just circle back to the parenthood piece, and like how you created that block of time for yourself, and what was your process around that?
Yeah, it's very, very beautiful actually that you say that, because, you know, I was already very free when I met Freya. I was still running my weight loss business, but I was already like it was not going very well. So I could, you know, I took a salary out of the business, and, you know, it paid for everything, but like the business was not so successful anymore, and it was like a bit of a struggle. But still, you know, I was able to manage it with like, sometimes 10 hours per week, but sometimes also 60, you know, so it was, but I was already having a lot of freedom. And then I met Freya, and then we felt, I'm not even sure. No, I think in that time I also decided to put it up for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And when did I sell it? It was last year in January. Then Joy was already born. But I sold it when Joy was 3 months old. But before that, I just took a lot of time when we were pregnant. I just like really prioritized that, and I really did a lot of fun stuff together, but really took really good care of Freya. It's like she's like often saying that like that she had the best time of her life. And it's like so awesome to take care of your wife. And then just before Joy got born, we decided to go into we call it a bird portal. So we decided like we actually wanted to have a few days not leaving the house and really go deep into sharing and like looking back in our lives and seeing what happened, and and that was actually very powerful. And this portal actually happened to be 20 days because Joy came quite a bit later. So we stayed like around 20 days. We stayed at home, and we just like were basically only in the bed, and I only went out for cooking food, but that was very powerful portal.
Yeah, in such like a precious stage, right? It's something in life that you don't get the chance to do again. Like once you've lived that time and you've had that experience, then it's past, it's gone. And just the ability to be able to, for you to be present during that time, and what that's now given Freya the experience of, and the safety I'm sure it's created in her body within your relationship, and also Joy coming into the world and having you so present there as well. Like such a huge investment in your future. Like even if I was to look at it from as a man wanting to achieve and to grow, but to set and hold your family during that time, of course, is a beautiful thing, but also you're setting such a solid foundation for everything that's going to come from there as well. Like, family being that inner circle of our kingdom, right? And what we're building. And so, was really inspired during that time, seeing what you're doing. And how did you work through that time in terms of, you still had projects on, you still had things that were running, like, as you said, the business maybe wasn't going as well as it did in the past, but yet experiencing you during that time, you were super present. It's almost like you weren't distracted, or you weren't drawn away or absent. You were really there and present with the family, present with the initiation as a man that you were going through. What's like the juice there? Is there any like what allowed you to do that?
Yeah, it was basically a choice. I said to my team, like I had a manager, and he was luckily with me for quite a while, so he was quite experienced, so he could really take care of the business. So I really told him, like, I'm gonna be away for a bit, and I'm really gonna take this time. So it was the decision, and I really felt like, this is right for me to do right now. Because I also, we learned a lot. We followed a course, we watched a lot of content. And then I also find out that, like, it's so important, like, not after the baby is born, but already when you're pregnant, in utero, is so important for the child's life, that they have that there's like a good space for them, and that the parents are not fighting, and that there is no stress. And so I really, and also the moment, like, I've heard that, I'm not sure if this is actually very true, but like I've heard that the way you are born is also the way you are, experiencing the rest of your life. So I was like, you're really preparing for that, and it was amazing, So I think Joy is like in a really, a good place, and she had a really beautiful birth and beautiful pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of I've heard this quite a few times, but the children, when they were in utero, in the mother's belly, depending on the music that was played during that time, they end up loving that music sometimes later on in life. And I'm just using that as like an example of how much already the child's taking in energetically, and what they're already hearing and what they're receiving about information about the world and how the world is, and is it safe, is it this. So yeah, like really resonate with what you're speaking to there, and like the investment of that time at that stage as well. So yeah, really powerful, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Where I would love to go with this now, man, is I see you like over the time that I've known you, you have like a vision drop in. Sometimes I know about it already. Sometimes it's something that you already start working on before I've heard about it. But you have a vision drop in, and you just turn it into reality. Like you go down the steps of making it happen, whether it's been transitioning and selling your business, your first one about the weight loss, whether it's been you building these villas down here and going more into like property. This is already something that you were doing when I met you, but you've finished quite a few villas in the time that I've known you. And there's been a few other projects like this as well, in only like a 2-year span. I'm just curious to hear your model of the world. Like within Niels, how does this like happen, and how do you operate?
Yeah, I think this typical manifesting generator. This really a part of my soul. You know, it's for me. It's really easy to start new things and to give like energy to it, and so it's like it feels really natural to me. And also I have like so many ideas. You know, it's like almost everything I experience, I have an idea to make a business out of it. You know, and that's really powerful, and it's a really powerful aspect of myself. And to really like, now I'm like 44, I just turned 44, but I really feel that power also to be able to manifest it. And I think with Freya, she's a manifester, you know, and us coming together, and that also felt really right, you know. So I think alone just by myself, it's difficult to do all that. But if you have the power of the relationship and the family, and you know, of course, I sold my business, so you also you need capital, right? You need money. So that combination I think is very powerful.
So just to break it down even a little bit more, and just like wanting to pick your brain and pull all the strings, and so you have the idea drop in, and then how do you go about like obviously things take a day by day approach. So you have an idea, do you like set a goal and start moving towards that goal, and like just managing like your time and your energy around, you know, because that's one of the biggest things is, as you said, you've got so many ideas that can be such a distraction as well. How do you go through that process? What's the strategy there, if you could put your finger on it?
It's more like, and of course all those ideas I get, like would be ridiculous to follow up on all of them, you know. So it's also very, very nice to play with ideas but not follow through on them, you know. So that's important for me. But then I think, you know, it's also very important to know, you know, what do I really want, what is really good for mankind and for my environment and people around me and for the planet. And then see, like, because it's also one of my struggles is that I'm, you know, too busy, you know. I you know, in one way I'm very present, but in another way I always like, I'm like, so I can do a million things on a day, you know. And so it's also so being focused on a few things and being effective on it. So yeah, I can really do it, and it's an energetic thing, and it's not, yeah, it just goes automatically. But I'm also always like fucking crazy busy, doing this, like eating and like it's like
Hmm.
sometimes really crazy,
Hmm.
and that's hard for them as well.
Yeah, yeah, okay,
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
yeah. So channeling that energy, getting it done, and yeah, taking, like, by the sounds of it, there's lots of pieces that you just make make happen.
Yeah, so by being really busy, that's also part of me. So because I have a lot of free time because I don't work 8 hours in on an office or something. I go out 4 hours a day, but I get up very early, 4 a.m. in the morning. So I already work a few hours in the morning, and then I work 4 hours in my coffee shop. And so it's also very natural for me to be really busy and to do many different things. And still, I get to spend a lot of time with Joy and with Freya.
Hmm.
Um, so, but for me, it feels really natural to be like on like the whole day, and do a
Mm.
million things.
Yeah, I've heard you speak about this quite a few times about getting up at like 4 o'clock or 4:30, and it was along the lines of that you get so much done there because you're uninterrupted, pretty much like the
Mm.
rest of the world's not even awake yet. Um, yeah, I'd love to hear some more experience of like your morning and like how you put that together. Is there any rituals that you run, or do you just dive straight into it and work on your
Um,
to-do list?
yeah, before before I start drinking my coffee, I always do like a prayer, like it's gratitude for everything, all the projects I work on, for my family, for my health, yeah, for Bali. Um, yeah, it's always yeah, bring my gratitude to that, and also ask for to receive the best that I can possibly receive right now. And that I do that every day before I start, and then I just drink a coffee and just go.
Yeah. Just take the leash off, poof, straight into it.
Yeah, and I'm not every day super busy. I like the last month or something. Crypto was really like, yeah, it was not moving so much, and YouTube was also like, yeah, very automated. So sometimes I also just watch a lot of YouTube and just doing yoga. So I also have my periods that I'm super busy, and also some periods I just like take a lot of time for myself.
Yeah. You mentioned there about the gratitude that you start the day off with,
Mm.
and it reminded me of a podcast I was listening to recently where the guy was interviewing a guy that was from the samurai lineage,
Mm.
and the samurai was speaking about the power of gratitude as an embodied power within the body, and with martial arts actually holding that energy of gratitude, making us stronger
Mm.
physically. And I just found that so curious, this gratitude, and how maybe it's seen sometimes as something a bit airy fairy, or even like, oh, that's a nice mindset hack. But
Mm.
in the reality of like, it's one of the most powerful forces that we have, like even in the physical body, that we become stronger, that even that gratitude can convert into power as in a man to be able to go into the world and uh, create powerful things, but also to defend the ones that we love and
Mm.
make us a stronger person. So it's, yeah, just really curious hearing you speak about starting with gratitude, and yeah, just I'm piecing together all the bits that, like, how does Niels create his success, and
Mm.
I know you as somebody who's a grateful person, and the way that you live, the way that you speak, and choosing to always look on that positive side of life, and like really pull the threads of course there's so many things in life we can focus on, there's like millions of things, but by choosing to focus on that which is powerful, and amplifying
Mm.
it with our gratitude, it goes such a long way. Did with with your that side that I just spoke about, with your gratitude, like what are some of the influences that you where you got this mindset from of really speaking, living,
Mm.
and yeah, just being in this grateful state?
Yeah, it's a good question. I like, in a period when I started my business, after I came back from Australia, I started doing Tantra and did a lot of Tantra, and then I that went into more like broader spirituality. So I learned a lot about these things, about gratitude and prayers and all that, but like, I'm also a very practical guy. So yeah, I don't even, I'm not like, I'm very spiritual, but I'm very practical. So it's more, yeah, it's just something what really what happens, and I don't really think about it so much.
Hmm.
I just do it, and yeah, it just feels like, it feels good to do it, but it's nothing special, just 5 minutes, and you know just doing it, and I of course it's very powerful, but it's also, yeah, you can make it like super special, but it's also something, it's just a small ritual,
Hmm.
and
Beautiful.
I think it helps.
Yeah, I think the things that we do most often, it's the consistency that really adds up, even though it being 5 minutes. But if it's something that we're doing every day consistently, and especially when we're priming ourselves like early in the day with something like this, our subconscious mind's so open for reprogramming, especially when we wake up and last thing at night. So there's like a genius in doing it at that stage as well, because whatever we're saying to ourselves in that internal conversation is what's rewiring and refiring our neural pathway. So yeah, curious to hear that's what starts your day.
Yeah, cheers.
With the different projects that you have running, something I've wanted to ask and tap into you about is, how do you manage multiple projects at the same time? Like, one of the things that I find for myself is not having too much on my plate. So I've only got maybe 1, 2, or 3 different channels that I'm moving in at the same time, and that may not even be business. One might be business, one like I'm really focusing on travel, and at the moment I'm setting myself up in a new country. But yeah, so seeing you, the way you operate, you've got quite a few different moving pieces, and I'm just curious, like, how do you manage and allow this to happen? Like, even down to like the strategies, like of how do you keep track of it all?
Yeah, it's a good one. It was really, sometimes really tough, especially when there was a lot going on with crypto and a lot, starting with YouTube and then building, Sometimes it was absolutely insane, It was like, yeah, it was like too crazy, and I was overwhelmed and stressed and like all that, Yeah, now we finished the building, so that's amazing, that freed up a lot of time. But yeah, it was also, because I got this cash from selling my business, and I kind of like knew, okay, I want to invest in crypto, I want to invest in real estate, and a little bit later came, I really want to, I miss the online business, so I really want to do that, I love that, and it's also a very good combination. So that's how I picked it, and how and I learned this along the way as well, because I think it's best to see, okay, where do I make the most money with, that I spent the most time on.
Yeah.
And those 3 things, they were not making any money. Like, YouTube doesn't make money, still not. The building projects just finished. Yeah, starting now to make money. And crypto, yeah, is more like, yeah, the bull run is going, but it's not going very well right now. So it's also a very tough spot to just invest all your money in these 3 things, and then see, like, okay, how do I do this? And but I think, just seeing, okay, what goes best right now, and then spend most time there. Yeah.
And I'm curious, like, if you had somebody say to you, like, just putting you in the situation of you being the coach, and somebody coming in and saying, I don't have enough time What comes up for you, hearing I don't have enough time? I'm just curious to understand your view on that.
Yeah, I would ask first, you need to know. For some people, it's really a thing. I've experienced it myself as well. If you run like those 3 projects, and it's all booming, it's like, it's too crazy. It's like, so you either need to manage your time better by getting staff, getting like a right hand or like an operational manager, or you need to focus, spend your time better, or you're just doing stuff that's not really, it's not really working, or you're like procrastinating, It's like what a lot of people do as well, just like gaming or being on the phone or whatever, So it really depends what the situation is of the. But yeah, I would like definitely look in that, look there.
Yeah. And just curious for you on your journey, when did you start to bring people in? Just talking to that first point that you said, when did you start to bring people in to help you within your business? And what was your decision to get people in, like to, in terms of freeing up more of your time?
Yeah, there's basically like, I learned, in the beginning of my entrepreneur journey when I started Makkelijk Afvallen, one of the first things when I became successful, when I started making some money, one of the first things I did was outsourcing customer service, And I know, like, we also have staff here, we cooks, we cleans. I basically don't really do a lot of work myself now. I most of the tasks is already done by somebody else.
Okay.
So yeah, that's really the key to, of course, getting a lot of things done is not doing it yourself. Because also with the building, I was not a building manager. I was only doing design and like, so it's very important to hire people, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But not having too big team, having small teams.
Keeping it going at the same time. Yeah. Beautiful, man. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing and going into depth and into these different portals. And just as we start to wrap things up, and I'd love to bring it back into the realm of fatherhood, and just to close on like the family note and understanding that has been such a pillar for you and a foundation that allows you to do so much of what you do. I'd love to hear how fatherhood has changed you, and maybe how it's added to your life in different ways.
I think it just makes me such more loving and happy man, Because if you look if I look at my daughter, and it's like you just melt away every time, So it's like, and it's also one of the biggest responsibilities you can ever take, It's like the most important business you have, It's your child and your wife. So it comes with a lot of responsibility and with a lot of joy and love, So it's like it's perfect. I would recommend that every man who's not a father yet to just go for it. If you feel it, just like do it, because it can help. So it also can help you, making bigger choices. Because there's something bigger than yourself alive. So it can help you really to make a lot of money. Or of course, you need to have some funds. If you're like that broke, then maybe it's not a good time to take a child. Yeah, it's like it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. And the men that I've been around that have gone through this fatherhood portal, it's amazing seeing the transformation that happens, and like mental, emotional, psychological shifts that happen within the person. And I've had clients in the past that I've supported through their fatherhood journey. Like they wanted to, have that support and grow within themselves. And then afterwards feeling like they were almost like this father energy around me was so curious, like going from almost fathering and supporting them, and then on the other side feeling like they were fathering and supporting me, even though I had held that role for them. So
Wow.
I haven't been through my own fatherhood portal yet, but it's beautiful to hear from you, and you're a living example of that. You can have a beautiful relationship, you can build your businesses, you can do things that you're passionate about, and also have children, and there's a way of making it work. So yeah, just grateful for having men like you in my life before I step into my fatherhood journey, because you've changed the way that I've seen fatherhood and what's possible, right? Just like cracks open any limiting beliefs of like, oh, if I have go and have my first child, that I'm going to have to give things up, but yeah, I've seen through you there's a way to make a way and to make it happen.
Yeah, and also big thanks to you, man, because you were there like when she was born. And,
Yeah.
and it was incredible to have you there, like, and that's also really like life-changing, really, man, that you were there, you know, and you were just there to support, you know, you were there with your ex-partner, and she was more in the room, you know, but you were like, you know, you were like carrying buckets of water, getting food, like, you know, you were just there, like holding space. It was such a powerful experience, man. I was like so grateful for you, for your presence there, and for your help, you know, and that will connect us for always. And
absolutely, man. Such special moments, and yeah, it was an honor to be in that space, and it really speaks to like this beautiful power of brotherhood, and how we can support each other in these ways, and how it enriches our life. Like especially during these pivotal moments that we go through, like obviously childbirth's one of them, but even when we've got these transitions in our life and we're moving from one job to another, like have brothers around us that we can lean into and ask for the support, and rather than feeling like we have to lone wolf it, actually leaning into it, and like it's a completely different experience. And that's so much of what this podcast is about as well, is taking men's work and getting it out there to the world, and getting people hearing about these dynamics that we can have as men together, like that we're so much stronger together, right?
yeah, exactly. And if you do a home birth, you know, because if you do a hospital birth, it's probably not really possible, you know, then the staff there, like the doctors and helping it. But if you do home birth, man, I would like, I always recommend everybody to get like good friends in to help you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like we really needed that, you know, we really needed you guys there. And yeah, you really need like at least 4, maybe like six people would be perfect, you know.
And it just makes me think of like the importance in the preparation coming into having a child. Some of these things that may not even be thought about so much societally, but having a solid network of friends that we've already cultivated that beautiful friendship with. Because of course then when we're journeying through these times, we've already got those beautiful relationships that hold us through that time. Like it's not waiting till we're in it and then being like, oh shit, I'm here by myself holding it now. But there's things that we can do to prepare, of like, cool, I know that there's some big beautiful things happening in my life, and I want to go far. And part of that's having a network of people that love us, know us, respect us, and that, you know, we support each other through life as well. So yeah, it's just beautiful how it all aligns so organically for us. And yeah, to have that experience both sides, that is so empowering, because I also got the experience of being in the birth and had a really powerful birth experience for myself as well. So that's now me going into fatherhood in the next couple of years, is what my expectation is of what's going to happen as well. Like this gets to be a community effort, and just holding the beautiful space for the couple. And I've already got an idea of it because I was able to be a part of it, which is, I mean, money can't buy those opportunities, right? You can read it in books, but there's something powerful about the lived experience of when you've gone through it and you've been there and you've received it all. That goes well beyond what anybody else could ever teach you. By being in that space.
Yeah, that's also awesome to hear that, you know, that's how powerful it's also been for you.
Absolutely, man. So it's definitely, you know, it's not something that I have thought of massively in depth, but there was definitely shifts that happened with me from being in that experience. It's such a powerful experience of like life being brought onto the planet, like this pivotal moment in somebody's life, and so many factors playing out all at the same time, and the coming together of people. and also like experiencing myself as a man, as a provider in that space as well. Like I was carrying the water up and down, but I received so much from being in service, if that makes sense. It was like an initiation for me through that. So
It's life and death, like you also saw it in our birth, like,
yeah,
we needed to go to the hospital and, Freya could have died there, so it was like huge, and that's always with birth, these massive manifestations,
yeah,
very powerful energies. And I can also, it's so powerful to have done that, but also to be part of it is as powerful probably as
absolutely.
to have done that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember certain times during that night and me understanding the power of my intention as a being, as a man in that space, and to focus on what I wanted. Out of all the things, like my mind could have gone into all the fearful situation, but I was like, nah, this is the outcome. This is where we're going. Just knowing that that would have a play in the outcome. Of course, everybody that's in a situation co-creates that situation. So even that in itself, that process that I had to go through of continuing to focus and hone my awareness of like, what are we creating here? What's the highest outcome for this couple? Like boom, boom, boom. Thousands of times, right? Because the mind, the internal world, the minds, the emotions, driving to the hospital and waiting for you guys to arrive, all of these things. So like a full metamorphosis being and through that willingness to be in the space and like be in that full process, allowing it to wash over us and change us. And it's like this real a testament to like these challenges for us as men are so powerful. That's where we get formed and we get forged, is by not running away from that, but when the opportunity is given to, for example, you invited me and my ex-partner into this space to do this. A fearful version of me might have been like, whoa, like that's a lot.
Yeah.
But there's something deep within me that had this feeling of like, this is the right way. And of course I want to be there for these beautiful people that I love and respect. And in that choice, there was a huge opening and for me, an opportunity for me and for both of us to bless one another. And it just like this metaphor of life of like, there's sometimes these challenges or like a challenging path that might be presented, and every part of our body can sometimes be like, whoa, like that's a lot. But even when there's that little seed of like, this feels like the right way, the importance of investigating that and stepping into it and saying yes. Like when we say yes to life just resounds that back to us, and there's like an abundance that opens up on the other side of that. Yes, in my experience at least.
Yeah, exactly that. And that's also the power, that's probably the cornerstone of a healthy society, where you like actually, where you're fearful and you say, maybe not, but you lean into it, you do it, and then you have such a powerful contribution to life, because Joy is here now, she's healthy, we have a great family, we have like friendship, which like, this is so important, because without you guys, we would have struggled for sure, like, and you've been through this very powerful initiation, we've all been there in that portal, and that was like so powerful,
And this is the beautiful thing I feel about friendship and brotherhood, speaking to the Manhood Podcast, because we're here speaking with men. And it's not about just sharing the high times and the good times together, but it's when we share these potent moments, sometimes when the challenges are there and when there's a little bit of the unknown. Not that experience was super, none of us let it go to a scary situation, but it's through facing that challenge together that the real friendships are formed, like that real bond and that trust of like, I know this person's fucking got my back. Because we've experienced it during those times, like, and we know the person more because we're not only just seeing them when things are good and when there's like sunshines and lollipops and we're on holiday together, but also through some of those gritty moments that life has, that inevitably is going to continue to be the grit. But this is where we really learn to trust ourselves and other people, and trust and build those solid friendships and relationships, which, like, I believe for myself that relationships are the foundation of life that give us the ability to be our best version. So it's
it was also completely crazy, you know. You're then naked in a room, like with a bunch of people around you, and it's like, wow.
It's funny how that's sort of normal to me in some way.
Yeah.
From maybe my time that I spent in the tantra space and everything. But yeah, when you say it like that, yeah, it's a big experience,
And
right?
there's blood and screaming and like.
Yeah.
But like I think also we stepped in really well, and I'm very proud, you know, because a lot of men, especially in hospitals and so, they just go to the background, you know.
Yeah.
They just let the midwife take care of it and the doctor, you know, and well, it's like, no, you know, we are fucking there, you know, we're holding that space. I think you and me, we were like holding that space, you know, together with, of course, the midwife and the doula. But yeah,
Absolutely. And I feel like that's something that in our own ways we have trained before that point. And it speaks to, like, I feel the importance of facing, like I said before, facing those challenges in life, because it up levels our nervous system so that when we are in those stressful situations and that our body doesn't go into like a freeze response where we just shut off and we don't know what to do, and our brain, all the blood goes away from our frontal cortex into survival mode. And you know, that's what I'm hearing, this experience of the men in the hospital situation where they don't know what to do. They're just like, and authority pretty much does what they want. Or sometimes even the flight response of maybe not even being there or feeling like they need to get away. But these steps of up leveling our nervous system through facing the challenges, through even self-initiating, like starting a business is one way of self-initiating in a way, because you're constantly coming up against challenges and having to solve it. And all the different work that we've done through going to different retreats and the self-development work, that all accumulates to that moment where it's needed, and you can stand there and be like, I'm here, I'm present, I'm ready. And the ability to calm the nervous system so we can actually be fully engaged with what's required of me in this moment. So it just feels like a powerful piece in terms of preparation for childbirth as well, of like any of the guys that might be thinking of wanting to move in that direction, of things that we can do to support ourselves to have the outcome, because we have so much more control maybe than what we might give credit for.
exactly, and also like, this is all the preparation for that moment, but then after it happened, you have this most powerful happening in the world, you know, like a childbirth. It's like, and you've been through that, and you know, you also reap the benefits from that afterwards, you know, in your life as an entrepreneur, as whatever you do, you know, like because it's such a big happening, you know, and you can always have that in your pocket.
Yeah, love it, brother.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for stacking all the different gems with me today, man. We've gone into business, we've gone into relationships, we've gone into childbirth, and I just think there's so much juice here for the guys listening to this. And you know, some of these topics that we've spoken about are maybe quite rare to hear men speak about. So thank you for your vulnerability and going to the depths that you have here. Like, really such a gift, especially around the childbirth stuff, right? It's a big topic, And just curious to hear, for those that are listening to this podcast, they want to check you out more, want to know more about what you're about, and also they might want to come to Bali and find out a little bit more about your world here and Villa Selagi. And potentially you've got some beautiful villas around the place that you rent out. How can they connect with you?
Good question. I'm actually not so much on social media last years. I am, but like more my businesses. But Villa Selagi, you can check that out, Villa Selagi Ubud.
Yeah, we'll pop that in the links below as well.
Yeah, it's fucking an amazing place, one of the best views of Ubud. And yeah, if you want to come to Ubud, come to us.
Yeah, they've literally got like a waterfall down there, like a private waterfall for this set of villas here. So
yeah, so
I mean,
Greg lived here, he knows.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have social media, but like I'm not really active on it. I really want to get into it again, but it's like,
And also maybe about your YouTube channel as well. Where can they check that out? What's the name of your
I
channel?
can post one of my YouTube channels just for people to look at it. You know?
Amazing.
Post that in the
Drop
links.
in and go in deeper into the different aspects of your world. And
Yeah.
I know when I hear an interview with somebody and they inspire me, I'm like, whoa, how does this person put, how have they brought it all together, and what are these different aspects of them? So we'll bring the links in there with a few of the things that Niels is about, things that he's working on.
What I also can do, if people really like my life, our life, my wife, my beloved, she posts every day. You know, she posts stories every day, and I'm in there as well. So the best way to follow me is through her.
It's
you know?
perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
I love making it work. Hey, you've got your different genius zones,
Yeah.
but you're still getting out there into the world and in the right way, in the way that works. So
yeah. So I will also put her profile
beautiful
in there.
Cool, man. Thanks so much for the conversation, brother.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much for inviting me. Yeah.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. And thank you guys for joining us. And this has been another episode of the Manhood Podcast. Enjoy. If you like it, subscribe, comment, ask us questions, and hit this guy up. Check out what he's all about. And thank you for joining us.